Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Not Another Formula One podcast. Oh man, I hope you guys sure did enjoy that boring ass Japanese Grand Prix. I mean, me as a Red Bull fan, I sure did enjoy it. Speaking of Red Bull, how about the news of Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson being swapped? Now, I touched on this at the end of last week's or 2 weeks ago's video. Did any of us see this coming? Maybe a few. I was always kind of hoping that Yuki would get the seat. I mean, because Liam Lawson, very skilled, certainly a driven driver, has that dog in him, some might say. But I don't know if anybody, especially him, is experienced enough to take on that second Red Bull seat. And I think there is only one person for that job, and it's Yuki Tsunoda. Big congrats to the baby boy Yuki Tsunoda. I am certainly most proud of him. Boy, oh boy, so where do we start? I guess we can start with Jack Duhandy. I don't know, nor do I care, because I don't think he's going to be in Formula One much longer. Whatever this deal was in FP1 or FP2, when he tried to pull a little simulator trick with the DRS, obviously didn't work. And that's one way to lose your seat, isn't it? You know, doing shit you're probably not supposed to and not telling anybody about it. Franco Colapinto doing private tests in Italy. I think there's writing on the wall for Jack Doohan. He obviously sustained an injury in that crash. No one wants anyone to be injured in this sport, I'm sure. But yeah, man, you gotta let go of the steering wheel when you're crashing. Definitely a rookie mistake there, amongst other things. And now, from zero to hero, we have Max Verstappen putting in probably, I don't know, maybe one of the greatest qualifying laps of all time. Not just in terms of like how he did it, but the circumstances, like regarding this tractor of a car. No, I mean that's kind of wrong. The car isn't a tractor; it's just a bit of a shitbox, in a polite way. Much love though. He knows how to get the most out of it, and he sure did find that extra. What was it? 10 hundredths of a second? No. Yeah, 10 hundredths of a second above Lando Norris, who was only then another 3 hundredths of a second ahead of his own teammate Oscar. Definitely one of the greatest qualifyings we've seen in a while. So then the race starts. Everyone, a very clean getaway. Probably one of the cleanest, least scariest runs into turn one I've ever seen from any start of a race. And that's how you know it's going to be boring as shit, isn't it? First lap kind of goes on. There's nobody making moves on nobody. Well, no, except for Pierre Gasly and Fernando Alonso putting some dukes on each other at Spoon. Is that what it's called? Spoon? Because it's shaped like a spoon? I have no idea. At the same corner, Yuki, who started one position behind Liam Lawson, odd, puts the move on him. I think Liam got a little bent out of shape in the corner, maybe took too much curb, and really just let Yuki right by him. Poor Liam, but at the end of the day, it's kind of his fault. Besides that, not a damn thing happened throughout the rest of this race, isn't it? I mean, you get to like the pit stops, and you have the Max Verstappen and Lando pit lane incident. Now, my take on this is obviously in favor of Max. No, I'm just kidding. But I think it's pretty obvious Max, even though he did have a 1 second ish slower pit stop, he was a second ahead of Lando in the first place. He was already ahead, and had they collided, it would have been Norris and McLaren's fault for unsafe release anyway. And I don't think that's unagreeable. What I love most about the situation is just how whiny both drivers tend to be. Like Lando saying, he pushed me into the grass. Crybaby. Max pointing out how he drove himself into the grass. We know. We watched it. We all saw it. The pit limiter thing, I mean, it did look like Lando, like, once he got beside Max and was already going towards the grass, it does look like he boosts up in speed, probably trying to get ahead of him, even though that wall and that grass was coming up a little sooner than he may have anticipated. What else? Jacques Villeneuve. A lot of people online were saying his commentary is awful. I don't know. I kind of like it. I think he's a bit of a smartass, and I don't know. It goes a long way with me. Kimi Antonelli goes on to set the new record for youngest ever. What was it? Youngest ever fastest lap holder, setter, and youngest ever race leader. Both statistics that he nabs from current world champion Max Verstappen. So, he's got some pretty good company up there. Congratulations to Kimi Antonelli on scoring on his first 3 Grand Prix, something we have not seen in the sport since Lewis Hamilton himself. I don't want to get too hyped on Kimi Antonelli yet. I'm not saying he's the next Max Verstappen, but I think we're seeing probably one of the best rookies we've seen in years. Like years. So, I don't know. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. As for the rest of this race, though, it was a snooze fest. Everyone put on the hard tires. Oscar pitted a lap before Max and Lando. The undercut did nothing at all. Max and Lando pit the very next lap. Definitely a dumb move from McLaren if they thought like doing the exact same strategy as Max was going to get their guy ahead. I don't know how they thought that was smart. Because truthfully, there was no chance of Lando ever overtaking Max. It's not really an overtaking course anymore. The gap, I think, at the very least, between the first and second driver, the whole race was like just over a second. Lando never even had the opportunity to open DRS against Max. And Oscar Piastri was on Lando's ass, and rightfully so. Oscar was hands down the better racer on Sunday. Lando got the better lap, and that's what put him ahead of him. But if McLaren genuinely wanted to fight Max Verstappen, they should have put Oscar Piastri in second to try to fight. But at the same time, Lando Norris, I think, made the best move possible for himself. and decided to hold position. He knew damn well that he couldn't pass Max. He was never going to pass Max. His tires were fine. They were going to last. The McLarens are great on tires. I think he knew, in the grand scheme of things, that if he were to finish second, and Max finished first, and Oscar finished behind himself, he'll still lead the championship by 1 point. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day. He didn't need to win the race. I don't think he really even wanted to win the race. Because when Oscar was crying for a position swap, Lando said he was giving it his all, but still the gap never came below a second. And Oscar was breathing down Lando's neck. I think what we really saw this past Sunday was two young kids in a fast car chasing down a grown-ass man. Because that's what Max Verstappen is, dude. He's a grown man. Not even the most experienced driver on the grid, but hands down the most skillful, the most technical, the most all-around brilliant. And I think that shows when you consider Fernando Alonso's opinions on Max Verstappen. You know, I find it quite ironic that there's been not once, but two times where Fernando has been doing press for, Sky Sports or whatever, while simultaneously watching a Max Verstappen quali lap. I think the first time was, what was that? Saudi Arabia 2021, when Max was about to get pole and he slapped the wall in the final corner. But also, if you go back and watch Fernando's reaction to that pole lap from Max, you can see he loves that guy. I think he admires Max higher than anyone else on the grid. I think he'd want to be his teammate if he could. I'd say put Fernando in that second Red Bull seat. I think he would. I think he could win the championship alone, to be honest. I don't know. Max Verstappen is the GOAT. The GOAT for sure. Oh, so the race ends. Max, Lando, and Oscar. 1, 2, 3. I mean, really, the whole top 10 was the exact same, except for Lewis and Isaac making a little swap, and Isaac Adjar getting his first Formula One points. I think when you look back to Australia 3 or 4 weeks ago to now, it's quite day and night. Even Isaac could probably get in that second Red Bull car at this point, huh? Seems like it could happen at this rate. Because Yuki, despite it being his senior team debut in his home country, could not get out of Q2 and did not even get into the top 10, which, I mean, is not surprising. No one got into the top 10 that wasn't in the top 10 already. So what can you do? We'll give Yuki his consolations. He's still the man. Who's not the man, though? And Adam Norris? Is that Lando's dad's name? Adam? I don't know, nor do I care. All as I know is the guy kind of looks like a bit of a wigger. I mean, did you see him right after the race ended, before, when they were getting out of the cars, before the cool down room? You kind of just see Adam staring at Max, knowing damn well his son will never be as good or even as close as good as Max Verstappen. But that's a different story for a different time. Adam Norris, I'm watching you. The guy kind of looks like he's about to go to the pub, maybe hit on some women that are about his son's age, if we're being honest. So with those closing remarks, I will give you the top 10. In first place, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, Lewis Hamilton, Isaac Hadjar, Alex Albon, and Oliver Behrman. My driver of the day is obviously Max Verstappen. One, for his beautiful qualifying lap, and two, for just doing 53 laps of S-tier car management, just race management in general. I mean, just didn't make a single mistake at all. My loser of the day, and I don't know, probably loser in the entire weekend, the entire last month, probably the loser of this whole season, if we're being honest, was Liam Lawson. Not particularly the kind of start you'd want to have after, going back to the junior team, especially considering his teammate, Isaac, who has significantly less experience, slapped the car in 7th place in qualifying. Sorry, Liam, 13th, and then falling to 17th in the race was just not good enough. So yeah, you're my loser, bud. So with Bahrain in just a couple days' time, I will give you my predictions. Firstly, I think Max will be sandwiched by the two McLarens, be that Oscar Max Lando or Lando Max Oscar. I think it's going to be a trend that we're going to see for probably the whole season. Max will usually, more than not, get the better of one of the two. My second prediction, double Williams points. Back in testing a couple months ago, the Williams didn't look too bad around Bahrain. Now, that definitely could have been just a bunch of glory run bullshit that, the team deliberately did to look better. But I'd hope not, Alex Albon has currently surpassed the points in 3 races than the team did in the entire season last year. So congrats to them, and I hope they keep up that form. And my third and final prediction, another shit show from Ferrari. They have not had a good go of it so far. The whole Lewis thing isn't turning out the way I think they would have liked. There's news that Charles and Lewis are going down different development paths in their cars. I don't know how that works or how they're even going to find the budget or the funding or the damn time to go down 2 different development paths with 2 different cars when you've kind of got 2026 to worry about. So, Ferrari just being Ferrari and definitely making my preseason predictions look very idiotic. Thank you. But that is all for now. Come back next week after the Bahrain Grand Prix, where I will be discussing all the things that happened there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All the things you do to a YouTube channel to make it grow. And hopefully mine grows on you. Until next time, bye-bye.